everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Oh my god, okay, you guys, we have finally finished it, and I'm so freaking excited. It was so difficult to do this. Like, I didn't realize what I was getting myself into, but I did it. Definitely not exactly the same, and I wish, and I know you guys are like, oh my god, of course she's gonna say this, but I just wish that we had like a 70 by 70 lot, maybe like an 80 by 80. I don't know. I just want something bigger because your girl's just not, she can't work with 64 by 64s. I just can't do it. There was like the entire time I was building it, there's like 7 or 8 or 6, I can't remember how many buildings, but there's quite a bit of buildings, and they are so big, and there's just so many things that I want to do and build on one lot, and I can't do it because the build lot is just not big enough, and I just need it to be big. That's it. I just need it to be bigger. But it's okay. You can definitely tell where I was coming from and what places are from like where, kind of, I guess. The more that we kept going, the better I found that the builds looked. Like the first like 2 buildings were me trying to figure out what to do and like kind of how to start this whole thing, and then the 3rd and 4th building got like a little bit better. Definitely wanted more space overall. I would have thought that I could do everything to like a T if I could just get a bigger build, and I just didn't, and I'm so upset, but it's okay. It's fine. I really like it. And I really hope that you guys like it too. It is actually out on my gallery currently right now, so girl, go make sure to download it. Go check it for yourself. I did definitely put quite a few packs in there, so I apologize in advance. But I do want to do like a base game build soon. I'm just not sure what to make it out of. And if you guys do any builds, make sure to put the hashtag SIMSPO on any of your builds. So anything in the description, just make sure to put it there so then I can see it. And then on a Sunday, I love to do a showcase Sunday again because it's been a hot minute and I really want to see your guys' builds. So please, if you want to do that, it would make your girl so happy, and I'm sure everyone would love to see your incredible builds as well. But I really do hope you guys like it. And girl, there's been a couple of things that have happened this week. I got my G test. I passed. Woo! Finally, I waited until like the very last minute. I was studying because, okay, girl, listen to this. Okay, so before the pandemic, they wanted you to do like 3-point turns, parallel parking, like emergency parking, like everything that you could like think of for any sort of of a driving test. Like they marked you on, okay? And then when COVID started, saying hello to everyone, their testing stopped for a bit, and then it came back. But the test that you can do now is that you didn't have to do any of those. Really, like if you wanted to do your G test, you still had to go on the highway. You still had to do like your driving around to make sure you know what you're doing, but it was cut down a lot, and my parents were like, Jamie, go do it so that you can just get it out of the way and you don't have to worry about like parallel parking and 3-point turns and this and this and that. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I definitely have to. Your girl never did it. I am so bad with procrastination, and I'm also terrified of going on any sort of hideaway. But since my boyfriend lives 2 hours away, I, thought now I'm like, okay, this is a good time because not many people are out on the roads. And when I want to go see him, instead of going on the back roads where it's beautiful, by the way, I always decide to go on the back roads. But if I'm feeling ballsy that day, girl, you will see me on the highway. I'm like, let's go. And then like 20 minutes in, I'm like, ah, but it's fine. But I have to learn, right? So while I was going on it, And I was like, okay, like I can just practice and I'll do it a couple times. So I was going on the highway, going to see him, and I was getting a lot better. Definitely terrified the absolute poop out of me when my data stopped working and it wouldn't show me where to go on the highway. And I'm like, please, please, reload, please. I need to know where I'm going and I need to know what exit I'm going out of. And I know I could just read the signs, but I was like so anxious. So I've never had an issue since, knock on wood, but I almost had an accident, I think the last time that I was on the highway, because someone like stopped almost right in the middle of the highway, and I was so close, you guys, to hitting that car in front of me. Oh girl, my hands were shaking. Long story straight, I don't like going on highways, so I was kind of leaving it and I didn't want to do it and I was just procrastinating. So eventually I started, balling up and starting to do it. And so I was like, okay, I need to go take my test. So I was practicing my parallel parking. I was practicing my 3-point turns. I was just doing everything and I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm like, okay, we're good. And then, fast forward, after COVID started to slow down, they started bringing back, like, I guess they brought back like the 3-point turns and everything. So I kind of missed that window and I was like, dang it. So obviously, like I said before, I was just practicing my 3-point turns and because I knew that when I did it, or at least what I thought I knew, is that, I had to do that while the person was in the car. And so I started doing it. And my dad was like, okay, well, since you're good, and you've had your license for like, 4 or 5 years, you should take your test because it expires in November. I'm like, okay, so I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it. So I put in my thing, got my date done. Freaking expensive, by the way. So I was terrified if I failed it because I'm not paying like $150 again. Like, no. So the night before, I am watching videos. I am practicing in my head. I am like pretending to turn the wheel as I'm laying in bed. I'm like, okay, they want me to turn like that. They don't want it to like that. Like, girl, I was stressing. And so the day finally comes and I got it at like 9:45 a.m. I don't know why I did it like so early. But I had it. I thought that 9 a.m. is like early for me, but I got there and it was nice. It was a beautiful day. It didn't snow. It didn't do any of that. And I go in and it is packed. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, there's so many people. But I'm like, okay. I go to the kiosk and I, have to put in my license number. I have to put in all my information. So I'm like sitting. Okay. And then it says, great, awesome, you're checked in. Now go back to your car and just wait there until the instructor comes into your car and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So I walk back to my car and obviously my nerves are like, hello. And I start like getting all the rumbles in my tummy and I'm like, oh, I feel gross. I need to go away. I need to go home. I don't want to be here right now. And I'm like texting my boyfriend. I'm like, I just want it to end. Why aren't they here yet? I think it was like 9:40. What was it? 9:49. And I'm like sitting here. I'm like, why aren't they here? And then it gets on 10 o'clock and I'm like, okay, I can't do this because my stomach was going crazy. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to the bathroom and maybe I'll feel better. I don't know. And then the person comes in my car and I'm like, well, that's out the window. I'm like, okay. And this lady comes in and she was like, hi, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. Like, she was quite nice. And I tried like right off the bat. I was like, please be nice. Please just make me feel comfortable because the lady who did my G2 test, oh my God, the lady like sent shivers down your spine. She was so like, she was so blunt and she was so scary. And I was like, okay, I really, really hope that I don't have her. And I didn't. But I got a lady who I heard in the parking lot like prior to when I started to roll up. And she was like smoking a cigarette, like talking on the phone. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, okay. And of course I get her. But she was nice. But like the entire time, she just told me like her whole life story. Like, girl, if you heard the things that this woman told me, you would have your jaw to the floor. Like, I met her 5 minutes ago and she's telling me everything. Like, oh my God. And I'm just like, okay, are you doing this because you want to talk to me? Are you doing this because you need someone to talk to? Are you doing this because you want to see if I can kind of multitask and see how I'm driving if someone else is in the car? I'm like, I don't know. But don't get me wrong, she was really nice and I tried to like butter the conversation up as best as I could, because I'm like, if I can get on your good side, maybe that can give me a couple brownie points. Like, I cleaned my car the night before, I got like a new scent, I had a shower, like, I look like, girl, I look like I was going on a date. I was like, I'm making everything look pretty. And so when she comes in the car, she's like, oh, it smells good in here. She's like, my other car, oh my God, I was sweating like crazy. And it was like, oh God. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I can I can cool you down if I need to with the AC, or just let me know. And she was like, okay. And so she starts telling me about like her mother, and unfortunately her mom has been through some stuff, and then her sister had a crazy story. Like, girl, I don't know, I don't even know if I should like say it because it kind of makes me uneasy. But long story short, her sister, like her below parts keeps like falling out of her body. Yeah. What? Yeah. I don't even know. But she told me and I was like, excuse me, you're going to drop that bomb on me while I'm trying to focus getting up to 100 to go on a highway. I'm like, are you nuts? So, geez, I mean, it was the ultimate test. I'm not gonna tell you. It is not funny though. Like, by all means, I just use humor to like kind of as a coping mechanism. Obviously, like, her sister going through that is awful and I felt so bad for her. But oh my God, you guys, it was just crazy. I wasn't expecting it. I was not expecting this lady to tell me like her entire life story. And I was going to be like, wow, if you're telling me all this, it's going to be real awkward if we're at the very end and I pull in and you're like, yeah, so, unfortunately you didn't pass. Like, I don't know. So I was like, okay, if you're talking to me about this, like, we're girls, like, you know, you might, I'm gonna feel bad if I fail her. So as we're driving, I'm gonna feel bad if I fail her. So as we're driving, I'm gonna feel bad if I fail her. So as we're driving, we start going on the highway and stuff like that. And I'm like looking like a bird. No, I look like a chicken. Okay. My neck is breaking of the amount of times I'm looking at each like mirror. I'm looking left, right, up, down, left, right, up, down. I swear to God, I probably spent more time looking at my mirrors and my blind spots than probably looking at the road, because this lady was like eyeing me down, and I don't know if she's doing it because she was just talking to me. Like, she was smiling, but she was really looking at me, and I was so nervous. So obviously I went in through up and down the highway. We were all good. And I was expecting her to start like being like, okay, go to the side, do a parallel park. Let's do a 3-point turn. Let's just like do an emergency stop, anything like that. Nothing. Nada. Nothing. I got none of that. And I'm like sitting here stressing my brains out about like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? I hope she doesn't do that. And nothing. It was absolutely nothing. I went on the highway. I got off the highway. I drove around, and that was it. And then I went back. Nothing. It was fine. So half of me was like, oh my God, thank God I passed. And the other part of me was like, are you kidding me? Like, girl, I couldn't even sleep last night. I was stressing. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, but you know, as long as I pass, I do not care. So y'all can call me a certified G, because I finally have my G and I don't have to worry about it. Now the only thing I gotta worry about is my G license coming in. And everything, and also Michael coming to the store. Y'all, girl, if you heard my story in my last previous part about Michael, girl, he came back the next day, and he was so weird. He went in, asked the price, and then he like stormed off when I told him the price of something. And again, Jeffrey Dahmer eyes. The guy's crazy and he scares me. And I wish I could get a photo of him, because if you saw him, girl, you'd be like, what the heck is going on with him? I'm like, there is nothing behind those eyes. It is scary. But he keeps coming into the store and it's super weird. And there was also, what was it? I think we had like a laptop on the counter, and this homeless guy walks in and he starts like looking around, and we're like, okay, like whatever. And he starts like staring at the computer, and all of us notice it, and we're like, this man is hard debating trying to steal our laptop from our store. I'm like, okay, I am prepared to fight a man today. You can test me you want, try me. And he just like looked at it and he kept looking, and I just like grabbed it and I like made eye contact with him. I was like, no. And I just like walked in the back and I'm like, don't take it. So girl, they should call me a retailer, but also like your personal bodyguard for any sort of electronic. It was scary, but it was fine. He just walked out anyway as soon as I brought it in. So I was like, yeah, that guy was definitely trying to take any sort of thing that he could from our store. Our laptop, if anything. But my question would be, how would he even get into it? Like, he would probably have to bring it to someone. I don't know. Who knows? But girl, it's been a day, and it's been hot out today. It's been beautiful. Anyone in Canada, it's been a great day, at least for me. But apparently it's supposed to snow back again on Tuesday, and I'm not excited. I'm just wanting to enjoy it while I can. I have the window open so I can feel like the nice breeze in, and then I'm going to my boyfriend's, what day you're seeing this? Saturday. So I'm at my boyfriend's right now, and it'll be nice because I don't see him that often. But what are your plans for this weekend? Let your girl know. And I'm also doing a Let's Play on this channel, and it definitely isn't as popular as my speed builds, because you know, if you come in for one thing and I start doing something else too, you're like, so I don't know, girl, go watch it. It's cool. I have a fun storyline. It has some like, what is it? Supernatural stuff in there too. So it is not like boring. I try not make it as boring as I can. It is fun. And if you want, I'll have it at the end of the video so you can go check it out. But it is a really fun family, and I really do hope that you like it. And I really do hope that you like this video as well. I wanted to try and make this a recreational center that is fully functional. So even though I did do a lot of recreations of the actual building, I do put in things that you can use, and it will be it will be known as a recreational center. So if you do like this video, maybe please consider like, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you all later. Bye guys.